Hello, so here we are again. My name's Howard. This is Loch Long, Thai Boyak. And I'm here just to talk about the Bionic Terraskin X00/C trail running shoe and my test of them for the past week and why I've decided to return them to Bionic. I'm going to start off just by giving you some stats. I've used them for the week. I've run 77 kilometres all off trail. Quite a lot of both climbing and descending in that. Probably about the 4,500 metre mark, I would think, up and down, according to Strava. They've had a good test in all conditions. Soft, hard, technical, runnable. I think it's been a really fair test of the shoe, and I have grown to quite like them. But there are some reasons that maybe you might want to think twice before buying this shoe. Anyway, to start off with, go through the good things I've liked. So, as you'd expect for a shoe that's this expensive, and it is expensive, the build quality is very, very good. It feels really solid. Materials are of top quality. Again, these are things you'd expect because you have to take price into account. Not on this foot, actually it is on this foot, and this, I'm talking about build quality being a good thing, but yeah, actually let's come back to that. I really like this knit upper, which you'd think Bionic would be good at, and it proves that they are. This is very much like their same type of material they would use for their compression gear, which is what they're known for, as you'd know. It's really, really lovely to wear, and it feels great on your foot. It gives enough, but also holds. So the testing and design of that part of the shoe, I would say, is excellent. Other things I like, I know that they like to talk about the lug design on their website. Many videos talking about it, and it turns out that even though the lugs are only 3.7 millimeters in depth, that the design with these sort of channels that dips down into the midsole of the shoe effectively gives you a bit more grip than you might think from what sounds like quite a shallow lug. So if you look at that bit there, I mean, from there to there, I guess is your 3.7 mil, but it must drop down at least that much again into these interior channels. So surprisingly, on soft ground, I've had absolutely zero issues with grip. Very good. Like. Also, it's Vibram. Is it Mega Grip? I think it is. It did say that that's worn off. Vibram Mega Grip, excellent grip on wet rock. Not the very best I've ever had. There have been a couple of moments where it's felt like it could give a wee bit, but the conditions here are extremely slippery on wet rock. Typically, it's not just wet, but it's also slimy with like a green algae type topping to it, which folk who run around Guyland Butte and west of Scotland will know well. So anything that can grip on that sort of rock, it's really, really good. And I'd say it's probably a 9 out of 10 for wet rock grip. The last thing I'm going to talk about in terms of things I like about the shoe is if we think about this shoe as being like a mountain shoe, and I guess it is, harsh environment where your feet need a wee bit of protection. There's a lot of protection here. Toe box, toe bumper even, extremely, extremely firm. This cage also provides quite a lot of protection if you're dragging your feet a wee bit through the rocks. Any scrapes and what have you I mean, I've had zero issues with any the feeling of insecurity on mountain paths or on bouldery, scrambly stuff. This shoe's going to look after your foot really, really well. Really good. Impressed. But again, it's expensive, so you'd expect it to be good. Right, and if we're talking about everything else now regarding the return of this shoe, then putting price to one side just for a second, the other things about the shoe that means it's going to have to go back are the bad things that I've not loved. I mean, the main thing I would say is the lack of ground feel, and everything else kind of that's wrong with the shoe I think feeds into that. It's not a massively stacked shoe. It looks like it is, but this cage actually isn't the whole midsole. Midsole is somewhere in here. They quote 31mm at the heel in terms of cushion, 26 at the forefoot for a 5mm drop. So it's not a massively super stacked shoe, and yet the feel that you have for the terrain under your foot is pretty much non-existent in my experience. Carbon plate in there as well. I'm sure that's playing into that. And for trail shoes, especially trail shoes that you're going to be using on technical terrain, you need to feel the ground, don't you? It's the whole nature of running mountains well is to travel quickly over those mountains and trails is connection with the ground, and I've just got zero connection with this shoe. Really nothing at all. Weight. So it's about a 400 gram shoe. Putting that into context of other mountain shoes, if you think about the normal Terraskin, it's about a 250, 260 gram shoe. And if it's good enough for Kilian Jornet on mountain trails in terms of performance and protection, and I do have a pair of those and they're fantastic, I just don't see why you would make this shoe as heavy as this. So for future versions of this shoe, I do think they need to look at ways of cutting the weight significantly whilst maintaining the levels of protection. I guess everything, again, coming back to the weight and to the lack of ground feel, is the stiffness, which is coming from the carbon plate. Yeah, the carbon plate, the stiffness, rock plate, is it for protection? Is it trying to give you a wee bit of bounce? Watching the Bionic video, the guy was suggesting that it gives you a wee bit of help on the climbing, it's going to give you a wee bit of bounce and pop. Honestly, there's no bounce or pop to this shoe whatsoever that I could find. It's just a disappointment, really. For some people it's going to be a bit narrow in the forefoot, that's the other thing that I've come up with. So for me, my foot's fairly wide, and just like a shoe like shaped like this, for most wide-footed people, you're going to feel it there and you're going to feel it there. And although it's been okay, yeah, over maybe a longer race, if you're doing maybe 160 kilometers or further, if you've got a wider foot, this is probably not the shoe for you. This material is really, really good. It's soft, it gives, but at the edges, the mesh stuff, which is a very high quality, doesn't really give you that bit of natural stretch. And the other thing was, let me just see if I can see this and show you. When I was just starting to clean them, I was giving them a brush off. I mean, there are, after 50 miles, there are bits of the cage which are starting to come away from the mesh. Can we see that? So I was only out for a very gentle 5 mile 8k yesterday, and previously that hadn't been an issue, and now it's started to show its face. I think I've seen the same on this one as well, a wee bit, just there. Build quality is high, but that's, I mean, after 80 kilometres, that's not a good sign. So finally, I guess we have to come to price, which is the main reason for sending these things back. They were a birthday present from me to myself. Given that I was kind of expecting to like them, but think that they were too expensive, probably to send them back. So it's good to get a test of them. If there were no option of sending them back, and I was just buying these as a pair of trail running shoes, well, I don't suppose you would for a start. They're £300. That's crazy. They're made in Vietnam. And what can you say about that? I can't imagine the workers in Vietnam get paid a lot to build this shoe. How can they be so much more expensive than other shoes of equivalent quality? And I have to say, some much better shoes than these are kind of half the price. That's crazy. What are they doing? I mean, that needs a massive rethink. Bionic are, I guess they're considered a premium brand, but £300. That's eye-watering. Not many trail shoes around the world are that expensive, so given everything else that we like and don't like, that I like and don't like about this shoe, the price is the thing that would put you off, I guess, and not many people even are going to get a try of this shoe just because it's too expensive. It's too expensive to try. And I can understand why they're doing this 30-day test to get folk to try them out. But the shoe's just too expensive for what it is. And that, at the end of the day, is why I'm going to send them back. So, thanks to Bionic, really, really great company at making compression gear. But when it comes to making trail running shoes, I think you've got a lot of work to do, really. Sadly, the socks have to go back too. So, right, thanks very much for watching this long review of this shoe. I'm going to be starting some even more exciting reviews soon. I know, calm yourselves. But for now, thanks very much. Goodbye.